Will somebody tell me if we're supposed to start the program?
Freeman hits the ball. Right field.
Into right field. She is gone. Oh, what a pass. Doncic, perfection there on the assist.
A little magic from Doncic.
Stafford takes the shoulder, takes a shot downfield. It is caught by Nakua. He picked him on his shoulder and made the catch.
One of a kind player. One of a kind season. Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Dumping in on the count. LeBron James at the buzzer.
This game's in the Admiral refrigerator. The door is closed, the lights out. Butter's getting hard, the eggs are cooling, and the jello is jiggling.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the LA Sports Roundup podcast. My name is Mike Andrade. We are sitting here recording on a Friday, September 5th, 2025. A lot going on in LA sports now. We're still in the dog days of summer, but things are starting to pick up just a little bit, and headlines are starting to pick up. I wanted to begin today's podcast talking about the big news that came out of this week, talking about the scandal that is going on with the LA Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, and Steve Ballmer. After that, we're going to preview Rams versus Texans, Week 1 NFL. Guys, Week 1 is here already. We just had the Cowboys and Eagles play last night with an Eagles win. We're in Week 1, so we're going to preview that after we talk about the Clippers scandal. So let's get into it. So like I mentioned, the big headline coming from this week was journalist Pablo Torre doing an investigation on the company called Aspire. Aspire is basically a company that Clippers owner Steve Ballmer invested into. I believe he may have invested maybe somewhere about 3% of Aspiration's total combined funding. So basically, Aspiration was going to be a sponsorship for the LA Clippers. The NBA has sponsors on their jerseys. They have sponsors on the floor. They're going to be a sponsor where the Clippers were going to be able to gain money off of it. It is reported that Aspiration was going to pay nearly about $300 million for a sponsorship deal with the Clippers in 2021. So through Pablo Torre's investigation and from his publication on his podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out, he asserts that Leonard secured about $28 million in an endorsement deal through KL2 Aspire LLC, the counterparty to Aspiration, a now bankrupt Echo financial startup, partially funded by Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, whom invested about $50 million in the investment in 2021. So basically, Aspiration is an eco-friendly company that would plant seeds over the country, and they would try to make a difference in the world. They had other celebrity endorsements like Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., Drake, among other celebrities that would endorse this company. They would pay them, and they would endorse them through commercials or voiceover work or whatever it may be, maybe in social media as well, posting about it. Now, these other celebrities were probably only getting paid about $2 million, $3 million, $5 million through this endorsement deal with Aspiration. But through findings of Pablo Torre, they found out that one celebrity that was getting paid through Aspiration as an endorsement deal was Clippers superstar Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was set to earn about $28 million in an endorsement deal through this company alone. Now, with that alone, it's raising up red flags all over because of who is at ownership or has an ownership stake in this company. It's Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. Also through these findings was that Kawhi Leonard was essentially paid $28 million, or maybe close to $28 million, to essentially do nothing. Kawhi Leonard has done absolutely nothing to endorse this company. Not through social media, not through commercials, not through appearances, nothing. He has done absolutely nothing to get paid from this company. And he has gotten paid. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard is a very soft-spoken person. He doesn't really do media press conferences a whole lot. He's not on social media, not that I believe. He's not an outward person like most celebrity superstars are. They love the fame. They love the spotlight. Kawhi Leonard is not that type of guy. I mean, they call him, what do they call him? Like a Robo guy or a RoboCop, whatever they want to call him, because he is literally a guy that just keeps to himself. He is a guy that has a very tight-knit circle and doesn't really range out of that. Now, in that tight-knit circle is Kawhi's uncle, Dennis Robertson, who has been at the center of controversy for years. The NBA has flagged him for conduct that pushed and sometimes crossed the limits of the leagues. So, for example, when Kawhi was a free agent in 2019, reports surfaced that Uncle Dennis made extravagant requests during meetings with teams. Some reports said that his uncle requested a house, cars, private planes for Kawhi, and guaranteed sponsorship money. Things that were going to be under the table, so Kawhi can benefit from it. The NBA reportedly investigated whether these demands amounted to improper benefits or salary cap circumvention. Nothing was proven, but the league issued warnings to multiple teams. I believe during the summer, they had like a summer meetings. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said it was basically going to be the cardinal sin for any NBA teams to go through with such requests from family members. Aside from that, there were whispers that Uncle Dennis wanted teams to arrange outside business deals for Kawhi, similar to what's now being alleged with Aspiration. The Raptors, the Lakers reportedly bristled at the request, and some executives quietly complained to the league office that Robertson was testing the limits of free agency negotiations. And while Kawhi Leonard does have an agent, a lot of people in league circles firmly believe that Uncle Dennis is the one making decisions for Kawhi Leonard's career, and Leonard gives him a lot of autonomy to push for negotiations in such terms. And the reason why we bring all this up is because it's probably the doing of Uncle Robert that probably set the negotiations for Aspiration and probably pushed for them to create this company for... Well, it wasn't created for Kawhi Leonard, but for this company to push for Kawhi Leonard to be a sponsored athlete, and in return, Kawhi Leonard can get paid under the table by the Clippers. So when I first heard the story of this investigation, I thought they were referencing to 2019 when Kawhi was a free agent, but this company wasn't even started in 2019. This company was started in 2021. Around the same time, Kawhi Leonard was becoming a free agent again in 2022. Oh, and quickly going back to Uncle Dennis, as we know, it was Uncle Dennis pushing for the Clippers to trade for Paul George to give up tons of assets, including Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning defending NBA Finals MVP, the reigning defending league MVP this current year. The Clippers had him. They had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And so in 2019, when Kawhi was a free agent, I believe it was Uncle Dennis that pushed for the Clippers to trade all those assets, all those draft picks to the Oklahoma City Thunder to get Paul George. Otherwise, Kawhi Leonard was going to join the Lakers. He was going to join LeBron. He was going to join Anthony Davis. And he was dead set on joining the Lakers. But they felt like, the Clippers, being them, they felt like they had to go all in to get Kawhi Leonard. And going all in meant trading those assets to get Paul George. Now, look, it didn't work out for them in that retrospect, but I can understand why they would do it. If Kawhi Leonard joined the Lakers, not just the Clippers or the Western Conference, but the entire league would have been ran for years and years and years by the Lakers. Now, me as a Lakers fan, I would have loved to have seen it, but the Clippers, being them, they had to do what they had to do in order to compete. Now, going back to this investigation, it was also reported through Pablo Torre's investigation that in March 2025, Aspiration filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Co-founder Joe Sandberg was arrested and later pled guilty to wire fraud involving investor losses over $145 million, ultimately totaling in a sum of $248 million. Holy cow. So not only did the business go belly up, but the main co-founder, pled guilty to wire fraud and all these horrific things. Now, with all of this being public information, this is what led Pablo Torre being tipped off about Kawhi Leonard being a small fraction of this, obviously not involved in any of the wire fraud or anything like that, but Kawhi Leonard being paid under the table by this company that was going belly up. Now, since then, Steve Ballmer and the Clippers have each released statements, and Steve Ballmer was actually interviewed by ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, stating his innocence in everything of this matter. He claims that although he did have a small ownership stake in this company, that he was not a controlling member of the company. He had no jurisdiction or controlling matter in which way the company was going to go, and he did not run the show for this company. He claims that the people that were running the show for this company bamboozled him and basically robbed him of his money. He also claims that any deals that Kawhi Leonard made with the Los Angeles Clippers was done previous to any deals that Kawhi Leonard made with Aspiration. Now look, these are serious allegations that the Clippers and Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard are going to go through right now. This is not ideal timing with the NBA season looming next month. The Clippers have revamped their roster, although they are a lot older, and they made themselves a lot older through free agency. The Clippers revamped their roster in order for themselves to compete in the Western Conference. This is not great timing whatsoever. And look, the NBA is going to go through with a thorough investigation in which could be laid with heavy sanctions if the Clippers are found guilty in any matter. Now, this thing is not going to be solved overnight. It could take a matter of months for the NBA to conduct their investigation and wrap up any evidence that they have that could be levied against the LA Clippers. Ramifications could be subjected up to a fine up to $4.5 million, the loss of first-round draft picks, which draft picks are so coveted in the NBA nowadays. It's coveted more than any time in NBA history. You have draft picks, you can, obviously, like, teams are calling you up to trade for them. Obviously, draft assets are a tremendous value in this league now. And also, too, Kawhi Leonard's contract could be voided altogether. There was a scandal in the year 2000 that the Minnesota Timberwolves conducted in which they secretly promised former forward Joe Smith a future mega deal to skirt the cap. And then when the NBA did their investigation, they included hefty fines, draft pick forfeitures, they voided contracts, and suspensions for team officials. Now look, although these are heavy sanctions that are against the LA Clippers right now, if the NBA conducts their investigation, this could lead into other investigations into other NBA teams, and basically it opens up a hornet's nest to what other NBA teams have been doing under the table. Trust me, the LA Clippers are not the only team to be doing these type of actions. I would assume not every NBA team, including the Lakers, but a lot of teams, I guarantee you, will have a hornet's nest of things that they have done, and sanctions could be levied against them just as harsh or maybe even harsher. Now, in my opinion, if the LA Clippers did circumvent the salary cap by paying Kawhi Leonard under the table, then the NBA needs to really, really come down on the Clippers as harsh as possibly they can, because this will set the precedent for any other NBA teams thinking twice about that. Now, it's quite possible that the NBA does their investigation and they find no conclusive evidence that the Clippers were at hand in paying Kawhi Leonard under the table. It's quite possible that they find nothing to it. But if they do, if in fact the LA Clippers and Steve Ballmer were in fact paying Kawhi Leonard under the table, then the Clippers should be fined heavily for this, and sanctions should be levied. Earlier this week, the LA Rams released new uniforms called Midnight Blue, and I gotta tell you, they are a slick design. It's not completely black, it's a really dark tinted midnight blue, but it has white lettering with white numbers, with blue going across the numbers, and then on the sleeves it's the usual navy blue Rams type of blue with the yellow horn coming around. It's kind of like the classic horn that the Rams would use, and also the helmet is in that in the midnight blue as well, with the yellow Rams horn. It's a really sick design, and they're going to be wearing those week 11 against the Seattle Seahawks. But it is not week 11 yet. It is week number 1 of the NFL, and that means the Rams are going to be playing the Houston Texans week 1 this Sunday at SoFi Stadium. Now let's preview that game. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play some clips here from earlier this week at LA Rams practice from head coach Sean McVay, quarterback Matthew Stafford, defensive back Jared Verse, and wide receiver Puka Nacua.
Okay, guys. Guys, go ahead.
Sean, has your philosophy changed over the years for week 1 of getting started in football?
I would say, Maria, it's just kind of a yearly thing. I think, you want to try to be able to do what's best for each team. You certainly use your accumulated experiences to apply, whether it be mistakes or things that we've done well. But more than anything, I think everybody's just excited to be able to get going and go play the best of our ability.
Will everyone practice today?
Yep.
What's Josiah Stewart?
He's good. Yeah, he's fully cleared. It was good to be able to get him out there last week, Greg, and so he's doing great.
Starting in the spring and then into the training camp practice that Matthew took part in, how have you seen his chemistry with Devontae develop?
I think it was really on display in the spring where they got a bunch of good reps. And obviously, in those settings, it's almost like a passing camp. You don't get as many runs off. So I thought that was great for them to be able to get that rapport. And then since Matthew's been back out here, I mean, these guys, they see the game through a very similar lens, Sarah. And so it's been awesome, and that was kind of the goal in mind. And, it'll be exciting to see those guys, bring it to life against a great challenge and a great defense on Sunday.
The Houston defense looks really good on paper. What have you seen? What stands out to you about that?
Yeah, they're good on paper and they're good on tape. So it's, D'Amico's a guy that I've always had a ton of respect for, but, there's a very clear-cut philosophy. They've got the personnel to match how they want to be able to play with the way that their front rolls off the football. They've got dominant players on the second and third levels. They've got elite players on the outside. Obviously, Stingley gets much-deserved recognition, and I think Lassiter is an excellent corner opposite him. Petries is good of a nickel as there is in terms of the physicality, and then when they get into their base defense, he can play safety. And obviously, their edge guys get it deservingly so a bunch of recognition, and and they have a full rotation of guys inside and outside that we got to be ready to go for. So it's a great defense. You see why all the praise that they get is certainly well earned and deserved, and we got our work cut out for us. And that's what I don't think you want to do is feel like you're practicing for a team where there's inevitably some unscouted looks, where you feel like you're practicing against, each other long enough, but you don't want to feel like you're preparing for the Texans forever. So usually you get a bonus Monday, and that's what we used, and then here we are on our normal Wednesday.
How are you feeling? How's the back holding up?
Feel good. Been out here practicing with the guys. Feel good. Feel ready to go.
Does your philosophy change from year to year when you get out here for week one?
No, I'm just always excited, to have the opportunity to play NFL football. It's such a blessing to be a part of this. I've worked a long time to get to this point, and a lot of people have helped me out throughout the way or along the way, and I'm just happy to, get the opportunity to suit up with these guys, go to battle with them.
How have you seen your chemistry with Devontae develop from the start of the offseason, getting those reps, to now being out here during training camp with him?
Yeah, every time we're stepping out on the grass together, we're getting better. I'm learning him, he's learning me. We're talking about what we want to do on certain plays. And, so all the time that we've had, on the grass and, frankly, off the grass has been valuable time. He's a smart guy. He's been around for a long time. He's played the game at a high level for a long time. So the conversations that we have are smart. They're on the point, and we're moving on. It's been great to work with him so far. I've had a blast and can't wait to get out there and play on Sunday.
What's the hardest aspect of that, of building chemistry with a new player that you need actual reps on the field to do?
I don't know that there is like a hardest aspect of it. I think the more time, the more dialogue, the more reps that you get, the better it gets. And obviously the only thing that we're up against, like every team is up against, is just the amount of reps that you get, especially this time of year, it's super dialed in game plan wise. And so, every time you get out there on the grass, you got to make those reps count.
To this Houston defense pop out to you as players, concepts, stuff?
Yeah, obviously they got really good players. Got guys up front that can rush the passer, do a nice job of stopping the run. And then I think their back end is as talented as anybody in the league. They do a heck of a job with, marrying rushing coverage, which is what you want as a defense. So, I got a ton of respect for him. Obviously played at a really high level last year and have a lot of the same players and added a few more. So, it'll be a huge challenge for us.
Matthew, with everything you've endured with your back in this offseason, no quarterback wants to be hit, but do you feel you need to be hit in any way, or are you 100% when you get hit, you're good?
Oh, I'm going to go play the game. Whatever happens. I'm playing like I always play. I got no issues with a physical game. Obviously would love to stay as clean as possible, but I'm not thinking twice about that at all. I'm out there ready to go play.
Between that, does it feel different going into week one this year?
Yeah, I think every year is kind of uniquely different. The makeup of the guys, the way the offseason has gone, it's always different. It never stays the same, whether that's personnel or how things roll in the offseason. Obviously we've had Alaric dealing with what he's dealing with, all these kind of things that come up, and you always know you're going to have to weather some of those storms. You don't know when they're coming. We had a few come before the season, and hopefully, not too many during the season, but just excited. I don't take it for granted going out here and playing, getting the opportunity to play NFL football, be a part of, a league that's meant a lot to me and a lot of other people in this world. So,
what's the mindset amongst that defensive line group about meeting at the quarterback? Kobe was talking about it yesterday.
I would say you meet me there, you beat me there. Like, there's no other option. Somebody's going to get there. Who's going to get there first? We're finna put up some numbers this year, so there's only so many that can go around. There's only so many pass rush reps.
You talked about what your teammates learn how to rush with each individual player. How's that process gone for you?
I feel like I have everybody understood. Whether, we bring Byron and me on the same side, whether you put me in a 3-tech and I'm rushing with Byron on the edge, whether me and Fisk have already had that connection, me and Kobe, I feel like we have flourished together. I can't wait, like in the joint practices we've had, but also I can't wait to see what it looks like in game. Like, I feel very confident with everybody I rush with.
What do you see in C.J. Stroud when you watch him on tape? He's led them to the divisional round each of the last 2 years.
No, that's a quarterback. That's somebody that he can hurt you with his legs. He can hurt you throwing the ball. He can throw on the run. Like, that's somebody that's a dangerous quarterback. And there's a lot of dangerous quarterbacks in this league, but that's somebody you're very keen on. We have to do a lot of work on, not just keeping him in the pocket, but understanding where his throws are, who he's looking for, who his main target is, and who he's like kind of edging for, so we can take off that side of the field, not only in the secondary, but in the pass rush.
Do you set goals for yourself entering your second year, or how do you kind of measure that you're taking the lead that you want to take this year?
I don't set goals for myself. It's whatever happens, happens. I focus on just being the best me, one play, then the next play. Whatever happens, that's how it goes.
Jared, how have you gone about preparing for their rookie left tackle?
He's definitely a good player. I've watched his college tape. I've watched a couple of the preseasons he's had, everything like that. He's a dog. He was drafted high for a reason. But also he's a rookie. But last year I was a rookie, and the first guy I went up against was like, I had to look back at college tape and saw what happened with him. So hey, anybody can make an impact in this league. He's somebody I'm very keen on. I can't wait to play against him.
Jared, what's your expectations for the defensive front this year?
Dominate. Doesn't matter who you put in front of us, whether it's the best O-line in the league or number 32. We're going to dominate.
What's your level of excitement to get this thing going and seeing what you and Devontae can do as a tandem for real?
It's been a dream come true. I think we were just out on practice the other day, and I'm sitting next to him under the tent while it's 100 and something outside. But just thinking, like, dude, I think you could scroll back somewhere in my Twitter profile, and there'd be tweets saying, "Go Pack, go!" I can't wait to watch the Packers, and especially to watch number 17. So to think that my locker is going to be next to his as we're putting on the same uniform is still super exciting and feels surreal. But I know it's going to be a headache for the defense across from us.
What was the one with Matthew? How was, from your eyes, how's he looking? And any concern about lack of reps?
I guess those are the advantages of being in year 17. I feel like there was a day where we were like, Matthew's going to get out there and try to spin it a little bit. Maybe it's routes on air, and then we were in team period, and we're hearing the play call come from him, and there was no hesitation, and it was we broke the huddle all in one clap, and everything was in sync. We were motioning all right on time, and it felt like we were back to normal. So the command and the control that he has of our offense is something that makes our offense flow as it should.
Puka, what was the one area you feel like you wanted to improve on going into this season?
I'd say catching the ball, having no drops or something, and then just my lateral abilities, especially at the line of scrimmage. Knowing that when we had the opportunity to get to work with Devontae Adams, the ability to add that to my arsenal. I feel like the strength of route running and being able to catch the ball and the physicality in a run game were some of my strengths. But then being able to feel like I am the backside receiver in some of our concepts, and to be able to win our one-on-ones on the backside, and just to be more consistent in that asset or in that specific part of my game has been something I feel like I've improved on, especially.
With Devontae, just what kind of a resource do you think he can be for a younger receiver like you and the other guys, just with how much football he's played and seen?
It's from day one. I feel like when we were just out here and just our helmets in OTAs, and just the knowledge that he has and the understanding of leverages and the ability to work stems to still win to your leverage when it feels like the defenders were not where you need him to be at the break point. And then just the trust in that we have with Matthew Stafford. Well, I think the ability to put those two together to be able to win leveraging.
All right, you guys. I want to thank you guys for listening to today's podcast and joining with me. We covered a lot of ground on the LA Clippers, the whole Kawhi Leonard, that fiasco, and thank you guys for listening. I just want to express my gratitude towards you guys for always listening and being a fan and a loyal Patreon of Lace 'em Up Sports. So continue listening and continue sporting. You know it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Until next time, my name is Mike Andrade, and let's see ya.